All right, so Cricket 36 here. I'm about to start the fourth game of my adventure with No Limit and Schulte. Actually, this is Schulte's third game, and then my first game was with some other players, some other cool guys. So board's not been set up, so except for the Russians, and since the Russians are not at war, I was trying to do Axis and Allies with some cool war room pieces. So $37 to spend. I'm going to record this as well. So the double. I thought I'd go live. I haven't gone live in a while. So I will do the double and see how it goes. So I had my eye surgery operations and back at UPS now. So let's see. Let's pull that diplomacy. Got to finish one of these games. I heard the interview the other day. I guess it's one of Larry's favorite games. Love to play with him. He used to do it over the phone. That's crazy. Okay, so let me just make sure I know what the same page. Oh, I think I have a bomber. So, yeah. So in this game, the piece you get a few more pieces, and I think the Russians get a bomber. So, which is cool. I do think out of box setup needs a bomber. I'll put that in Moscow. Okay. And there's some rules revisions. So $37. I'm gonna go off the cuff here. Let's see what I got. All right, $37 for this Crockett 36. And we are doing game 4. Now, I didn't think the other game was finished because I thought we had a shot at taking FEC out with all my planes. But obviously, I was going to have a slugfest with defending Germany. But, it's kind of fun for the Allies to invade Germany. So I thought it was maximizing bang for buck. But we're working on No Limits rules, and he wanted to restart it. So we're going to restart it. So $37. I want to buy a tech token for $5. That'll leave me with 32, and I'll buy 10 men, and I'll have $2 left over. So let's see, $2, TC. I don't see any of my cash around, so I'm gonna say I've got $2 left over with this yellow dice. Okay, and I'm gonna roll the dice for the technology. Here it is. From here. What am I stepping on? All right. 3. Technology missed. It's good and traditional for me to miss technology first turn. All right, so moving on from there. 10 guys are going to be placed at the end. token goes, and I will roll a 5. I'm going to symbolize that by the white dice. 5 next time. 5 or 6 will hit next time. All right, let's move some stuff around. So you can move factories. I think you can still move 3, so I'm going to do that. But be very careful because this makes a lot of noise. Okay, so I'm going to pull these guys. Let's go from Belarus to keep guys in Belarus. Move them out of the Eastern Front. Move them out of Baltic, Eastern Poland. Move the guys out of Novgorod. Artillery, 1 artillery. 2. And then I'll fly this plane 1, 2, 3, 4 down to Ukraine. Fly the planes down to Ukraine. And then I really want a bunch on the border, but I won't. So 3 from Vyborg to Novgorod, 2 from Karelia to Novgorod, 1 infantry from Archangel to Belarus. Sub in 127, the old-fashioned classic sub goes 1, 2, 3 into 125, and then I've got 2 tanks that will roll into West Ukraine, and from Volgograd to let's see here. You know what? I'm going to roll these guys. I'm going to be a rebel. I'm still do something. I want to do something different. I'm going to roll these 2 tanks in, to Novosibirsk. I'll roll the other 2 tanks in Novosibirsk. And then I'm going to take this artillery and go to Bryansk. 2 anti-aircraft go there. I think I have to leave those, the guys in Caucasus, into Caucasus because we're not at war, so I don't think we can go there. But they can be ready to march down there to the sea. Yeah. So I do have I forgot I do have factory here. So these guys can actually go, 3 of these guys can actually go a good bit. So I'll take, they can go 3, I think. So 1, 2, they'll go to Western Ukraine, and I'll take the anti-aircraft guns, put them up front. The artillery can stay in Bryansk. I do have a factory over there, so 3 of the guys from that, two of the guys from the Leningrad factory could actually go 2 spaces, 3 spaces, and I'll bring them all the way down here to the south, to West Ukraine. And the planes, the actual tanks and stuff could go further too. But oh, that's right, they can go further. Okay. Just for fun, I'll put them in Tungushka. 3 spaces, 1, 2. Nope, then that would be Russian. The Russian move. Okay, so put the 2 tanks in, 2 of the tanks from Volgograd in Tungushka. So where's that? Where's Kazakhstan? Now let's put them all in Kazakhstan. And then we'll pull everything back to Buryatia. And I think 2 guys can move to, 2 of these guys can move to Moscow by the railroad. Let me just pick this up quietly. So 2 of the guys went on the railroad to Moscow. I think I can do this. Instead of the 2 guys, I'm going to actually take the 2 anti-aircraft guns, and I'm going to take them. It's a transport, so maybe I can only take 1 of those. I'm going to assume you can take a transport, which is 1 of these and 1 of these. So I'm going to go like that. 1 anti-aircraft. Hopefully that's correct. I will get an anti-aircraft to replace that in a minute. All right. And then I think I'll just totally change my mind and not move these tanks here, but put them back in Ukraine. Yep. All right. I think that's good. All right. So wrap it up. In the ships over here. So I'm going to do the recap right here. We got 15, 16, 17 guys in Buryatia and 1 anti-aircraft that I will get from the Russian box. Couldn't find them earlier. I said it's better, but it's not super duper. Funny thing is, it's not my. I said this before, but it's actually not my hurt eye. It's actually the other eye. I don't see any. I have to look. All right, so I'll look later. But there's one over there. Just the anti-aircraft, and then over here, let's move this over. And what we have is we have 2 in the Caucasus, 2 infantry. We have a bomber, 2 fighters, attack bomber, 2 mechs, 2 tanks, and I'll move these up here. I don't know why, but we'll move up here. And Vesta Ray should go up there too. And then, and we're placing 2. So that would be 3 guys there. It's a 5 chip. That was a 5 chip. So then 3 of these will go into Ukraine. That's newly placed units. Is that? The guy looks like an Italian. I think he is. Let's go with him for now. All right, and then we'll take 3 guys and put them into. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. I'll put 3 guys into there. So there were 5 guys to start with. Now there's 8. That's correct. There were 5 guys that I replaced here with a chip. So I've placed 6 so far, and I've got 4 more to place. I'll place those in Russia. So that would make the recap for Ukraine: 2 planes, 1 bomber, 1 diver, 2 mechs, 2 tanks, 3 infantry, and then in. Hopefully we got this right. Shell game doesn't always work out for me. So I think we have in here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. Okay, this chip. That chip was the anti-aircraft. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry, 1 artillery, and 2 anti-aircraft. In Bryansk, 1 artillery. In Russia, 5 artillery and 1 anti-aircraft and 1 tech token, and this is $2. In Belarus, I see 2 anti-aircrafts, 1 artillery, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. In Leningrad, I see 8 guys. In Sea Zone 115, there'll be a sub. In 114, there'll be a cruiser. And in 125, there'll be a sub. And that is the end of my turn. I think I get $37. I think I have an oil field somewhere. I'm going to roll for it.
Oh, are you
and
live?
Yeah, I'm live.
Okay.
I'm going to roll for it. I'm kind of busy. I'll be just done in a minute.
No, I need to tell my teacher I can't make it to class tomorrow.
If you can just give me a minute, we're good. Okay, so this is if I have an oil factory, which I'm pretty sure I do, in the Caucasus. Then I would drop this. And I would get 6, which is nothing. All right, and I would, I think, have the same amount of money. Russia would get spread of communism. Nope. National prestige, but we're not at war, I don't think. So I think I just get the 37 plus 2, which is 39. So hopefully I did all that right, and that's Crockett 36's turn. Out. $39. Okay, so $39. Okay, so where is my money? All right, so that's done. So what's going on in Axis and Allies World? So I did see an interview with Larry, and that was a cool interview. I don't know who that guy was, but he had a lot bigger following than I did. So he was into some stuff, and that was cool. Great to see Larry in the midst of the pandemic. He is in the age group where it's a little bit dangerous to be venturing out. So I'm glad he's safe. I've been playing a game with a guy from Guam named Guam Solo, and he's pretty cool. And he's a pastor out there and does some real marshaling of the troops, I guess. Let's see. I have no lights to light up my face. So then that's a great game, and it's going well. I'm playing the Axis in that one. I'm playing a game of Path to Victory. Not doing so well with that one. I am not used to the rules of Path to Victory, and it's balance mode. Oh, we got some comments here. I had the Atlantic Wall in my Allied hands last game, and even Schulte thought Europe was finished. Hey, factories can only go back 2 spaces. Don't enter Chinese territories, otherwise a declaration of war, and you don't get those Mongolian troops. When you move factories back, it's build 1 space, no builds 2 spaces. You don't roll for oil wells until you enter the war with anybody. How come you never got an interview with Larry before? Everybody else knows you know him. Yeah, he said no, so I'm not sure why, but I asked him, and at that point in time, he said no. So, but I did get Tom, and that was cool. So there you go. That's awkward. So then let's see. Playing a game on the forums, Path to Victory. The map is funky. Like I said, I really like it. It has the islands, and the islands actually include 2 different. It'll divide the islands into 2, so you can reach the islands from 2 different spaces, which I think is really cool. I asked him to do an out-of-box version, but he said that people on the forums really don't do it, and coding it would be not easy. So he also said no. There you go. I got a theme going on tonight. People telling Crockett 36 no. So then, but it's an interesting game. It's great to play with the creator of a game. He's the one that sort of helped make the rules. Regular kid for Path to Victory and balance mode. So that's cool. And then what else? I'm in a game with Doggone It, but we've had some issues. Probably everyone here has had some issues with uploading the different versions. They just came out with a new version of AAA, and so he had a problem uploading the game. But I was doing pretty well in that one, and that might be my 3rd league game. So I'm hoping to get that one sort of wrapped up, because you need 3 league games in a year to be sort of official. Not that I'll be at all high on the level. But it's good goal to get 3 in. Maybe I'll eventually get more in. Just start rocking and rolling. I don't like balance mode though, so not a big fan. It's hard enough. If I think if I was really to do it, I would go back to Anniversary, which I think would require fewer tweaks than Global. I don't think Global takes a lot of tweaks, and I like a lot of No Limits tweaks. I think it's going to be a bit, and well, I know it's a bit in the Allied favor, so I'm glad to be on the Allies this time, and I'm glad to finally team up with No Limit to see how he thinks, because I haven't actually been on his team yet, so that's cool. So this is a fun game. I haven't played War Room since my online game with Tom, which was an intense game. Yeah, I'll do I've got it recorded, but on my phone, and I'm going to upload the phone. So this is sort of not the official. I guess I could do one real quick here since it's live stream. 17 guys in Buryatia and 1 anti-aircraft. In Russia, 5 infantry and 1 anti-aircraft that moved from Buryat. Actually, No Limit. Can the anti-aircraft move from Sakha? So then, if they can, then there would be 5 infantry and 1 anti-aircraft in Russia and 1 tech dice. 8 guys in Novgorod. In Belarus, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys and 1 artillery and 2 anti-aircraft in Belarus. In Western Ukraine, there would be 2 anti-aircraft, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys, 2 anti-aircraft and 1 artillery. In Bryansk, there would be 1 artillery, and in Ukraine, there would be 2 mechs, 2 tanks, 3 infantry, 2 fighters, 1 diver, and 1 bomber. I believe the addition was the bomber. And then the sub would be in 125. There would be another sub in 114. No, I'm sorry, 113. And a cruiser in 114. Hope that's clear. Yes, any 2 units can use the Siberian Rail. Cool. But it's like a, I think the Siberian Rail is like a transport, I think, is what he said, which means, you know, 1 tank, 1 man, 1 artillery, 1 man, I think, maybe. So let's see, anything else going on Axis and Allies World? So I haven't played out game of War Room. I'm dying to play that. I did use the War Room pieces on this game last turn, which I thought was cool. Let's see. Here we go. The rail goes through Sakha. I was wondering about that myself. So does it? No Limit. So I'm playing those Path to Victory with regular kid, Guam Solos game, doggone it. And then I got a game with my son, and we tried. Everyone is forced to buy tech every turn, $5. So it just decreases the amount of money that's being put into the game, put into the units on the board. A little bit more of a game of attrition, but also a game of technology. So you just have to buy 5, and then we keep the tech tokens like Anniversary. So that's fun. Yeah. I think that might be it for Axis Knowledge. Oh, I did play a zombies game, and I have the pictures, and I'll upload that. Fun. I know it's going to anger some people, but there's a mechanic in it where you actually want to attack just with soldiers, even in a hopeless situation, anticipating that those soldiers would then die and occupy the land as a zombie. And so instead of attacking and trying to win the territory, there are territories you want just to become no man's land. So that's a fun mechanic. It's a 42 map, I think, the 42 second edition map. And honestly, it's a fun game. Correction, no rails in Sakha. Duh. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put the anti-aircraft back, and that would mean that there are 6 infantry in Russia, and then there are 16 guys and 2 anti-aircraft in Buryatia. All right, well, that solves that problem. So the other thing was there was a post on accessknowledge.org that I've been interacting with called Warfare Principles, put out by a guy named, I think his name is ANA Gamer, Andrew ANA Gamer. Let's see if I can find it on my phone. But some great stuff. He's a very conservative player, extremely, I think, myself. But on the other hand, he's talking about playing against very top tier players. And his big thing with the top with that was that you attack when the dice are. So he uses the illustration. Okay, so you attack and say you got 98% chance. Well, that means that you're going to lose 2 times out of 100. Whereas if you go to 99 or 99.8, you're going to lose, I think he said 1 time out of 2,000. So I think, so I could probably do the math in my head, but it's kind of late right now. So, but I thought that was a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit adventurous myself, and I think there's a bit of a element of, I don't know, is the word panache or adventure, or so I do like the odds, but I'm not a overwhelming odds guy myself. But on the other hand, if I want to be really good, maybe I need to, the dice are. I loved when he said that the dice are not your friends, and when you ride the luck thing. So my question, and I have put it out to him, is okay. So that's fine if you're the Axis, because you can play that game kind of all day long, right? But if you're the Allies in Global, then you can't play that game. And so I've been asking him, well, so he says that at one point in time he said, if you're playing against the better player, you need to take more risks. So your battles are, you need to accept the fact that your battles might not be 99%. So, but he says also that, so you're going to become a little more risky or not risk averse, and that is going to maybe help you win. But on the other hand, live by the sword, die by the sword. The same luck that can help you can also eventually, over the long haul, desert you, which I completely understand what he's saying there. And again, I appreciate it. Not 100% sure. Like I said, I'm trying it. I'm trying more of that stuff. And one of the things I'm trying to get into right now, since I'm playing with someone real, is to get into what I call the Allied Flood, which is in areas that I would normally have bought mechs and tanks so that you could cover a lot of ground. Like, for instance, the Middle East is just a mess, right? I mean, it's just so hard to get anywhere. So normally speaking, I would buy a factory and then build mechs or tanks there. And instead of that, I've been trying to build in my, because I'll play a game with a computer, and I've been trying to build just men and just get the men on the field. And if that enables me to get some men or some, and maybe I put some mechs there, but honestly speaking, I've been sticking with men in South Africa. And so eventually, turn 5, you can actually make some significant progress now. And you got a lot of men everywhere. Now, obviously, first turn you need to take care of London, but you could. I squeeze out 2 troops. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, the grunts win the war. That's right. And so almost a sense of access, the sexy stuff. Whenever the new players play, they're going to buy the sexy stuff. They're going to buy the planes and the tanks and the bombers and that those have their place, especially when you can get something with like a technology at the beginning of this game, which this is a game for technology, which is awesome. But the real winning of the war is going to be with the grunts. And now there's a lot to that. But my question to this guy, Warfare Principles by Andrew AA Gamer. I'll just show you guys the thread. Warfare Principles of Axis and Allies, and this is specific to global 40, not to balance mode. See if you can see that at all. Maybe not. So I've been commenting on there, and so I think what I just asked him was, well, that means that if you're playing out of box, plain Jane without a bid, then according to these principles, it is much easier for the Axis to achieve victory in a plain Jane game. No bid, I mean. Therefore, in order to win, they must choose lower percentage battles. It also means that if you can see yourself falling considerably behind, you must choose to be adventurous. And that's what will happen in a lot of these games. Like, if this game tends to be tilted toward the Allies, then the Axis need to be a little bit more of the, okay, now I have to go for a 48% chance battle instead of just sticking with 60, 70. And he also talks about total unit value, which I've always been impressed that No Limit tries to do. To look at, okay, each round, what did each side lose? Because it's an economic situation here, and if you're both not increasing hit points, total unit value on the board, and gaining an IPC value, obviously you're losing the war, and that's just the way it is. No matter if you've got a strong air force to fly over the fields, but nobody in the fields, then you're not winning the game. So I talked about YouTube Wars, Game 4 of this No Limit playtest. We actually did the thing, and I videotaped it on my phone. My phone's going to be the official version. And then, but you could obviously do what you want to do. I've also got a game with Guam Solo out of Guam. I've got a game with Regular Kid, Path to Victory. I've got a game with my son Ben B. Van Dyke. Those are all in the forums, and it's a game that's sort of stalled right now with T1, T1 France, UK. What's that symbol? I do not know what that is. OOB 40 cannot be won by the Allies when going up against a equal experienced player. 90-something% of the time, I challenge anybody to that point, even you, Schultze. T1 France, UK. Le Bois, is that French? It's losses. Okay, there you go. Losses. Yeah, that's right. And that's I always say that the setup of the Allies is not the original setup. The setup is the setup starting U.S. turn 1, because the losses are so heavy. I'd love a game where there was I love the mechanic in the original Pacific game that came out, where the surprise attack first turn, the launch, for instance, Barbarossa, give the Russians more troops, but have every one of them defend at a 1 on the line, or and same thing with the Japanese. Everywhere you attack, they defend at a 1. I love that mechanic. So then I've got a game with Doggone It that's balance mode, but we're actually not using the balance mode rules, so neither one of us seem to care about it. We're just playing it like it's OOB. And I'm doing fairly well in that game. But the game with Path to Victory, I'm not doing well with. Guam Solo, I'm playing the Axis. I'm doing pretty well with that. Italy's got some great moves in the Egypt pretty early on, so feeling pretty good about the game. So yeah, so that Warfare Principles, that's the thread that's sort of making me think right now. I'm calling it the Allied Flood. I've even tried experimenting with old, when you first got into the game way back in the day, the '84 version, and obviously the big thing to do was to land Operation Torch, land in North Africa, and then cruise your tanks across northern Africa. And then the other thing you could do would be to usually you know, a lot of times you'd put a factory in China, but you could also just drop men in Russia and go from Kamchatka west. And I've been trying that a little bit. It really does sort of jar the Japan and makes them focus north, which is, of course, gives the British trying to upset that first two turns, trying to make the Allies stumble the first two turns has been tickling my brain lately. And that's why things like the land bridge between Asia and North America is really tickling me, because it just throws off the opening moves and makes it so that turn 4 you could really, I mean, you're just ready to cut their throats if they want to just ignore you and go south. I utterly destroyed your tank with my anti-tank gun, Monsieur Schultze. Battle of Paris. What? Aren't you guys up past your bedtimes? I gotta go to bed. I got a meeting in the morning at 6:15. But that's my Access Knowledge world. I just introduced a kid to zombies. He's 12, and his dad. So that was cool, and they did like it. And the zombies was kind of, you know, it's a tickler. And then, you know, maybe someday. But the 42 map is beautiful. The map for the zombies, if you haven't seen it, it's something worth looking up. Even if you don't use it for zombies, it would be a nice map to play on. So, okay, Kraken 36, I got to sign out. God bless you guys. The battle is not always to the swift or the horse or the rider, but the battle belongs to the Lord. So, God have mercy on us, on our families, our children, and those we love. And good night. Kraken 36 out. That was a Panzer II. The Tigers will be rolling. Yeah. Oh, please. That's like bragging about beating your grandma in arm wrestling, Schultze. Okay, I got to end it, guys. Good night.